People of the internet, Sony just dropped a new PlayStation trailer that does indeed feature Hogwarts Legacy. But what does it all mean, and did they actually reveal a tiny snippet of the game that we haven't seen before? We'll cover it all in today's video. RetroRaconteur here, and in this new trailer from PlayStation, we see quite a few games very rapidly, I might add, flash across the screen. The entire trailer only lasts about 50 seconds long. They actually tweeted it out around 11 a.m. back on Friday, August 27th. It's okay if you haven't seen it yet, I'll make sure to link it down in the description below. The trailer is basically just a sizzle reel of games for PS4 and PS5, and as these games are playing, it features words like belonging and courage and freedom flashing across the screen. Most of the titles here are first-party titles, but not all of them. And one of those third-party titles is indeed Hogwarts Legacy. It actually appears about 5 or 6 times in the trailer, although each time it does, it's just for a few seconds. Now, if you're new here and you're looking for more than just a few seconds on the game, be sure to check out all of my other Hogwarts Legacy videos here. We have a ton of stuff talking about theories on the game and, of course, all the news that we've gotten to this point. But in terms of this specific trailer, there are actually 3 key points that I think Hogwarts Legacy fans should take away from this. Number 1, I think this just about confirms that Sony does have some sort of marketing exclusivity deal with the game. If you remember back at the initial unveiling of the game, the very first time we saw it, at least in an official capacity, was at the PS5 showcase event all the way back in September of 2020. I know, feels like it was so much longer than a year ago. In addition to that trailer, they also had a PlayStation blog post that went up shortly after talking even more about the game. Then 2021 rolls around, and all we've gotten this year is the delay announcement. Not so fun. And then the second thing we've gotten was when the Warner Media CEO, Jason Kilar, tweeted out a couple of concept art images. I know, guys, there's actually been very little to discuss. Now, in this time frame, it just so happens that PlayStation has also been very quiet as well, despite being the market leader right now, at least in terms of next-gen market leader. Very quiet. So when you take that combined with the blog post and the initial reveal and the fact that Hogwarts Legacy and WB have been so quiet, I do think this just about confirms the fact that they do have some type of agreement where Sony has the marketing exclusivity for this game. Now, if you're new or maybe you don't follow gaming news very closely, this does not mean that Hogwarts Legacy is exclusive to PlayStation. It's still coming out on Xbox, it's still coming out on PC, but what this does mean is that anytime you see a trailer for Hogwarts Legacy, it's probably going to have the PlayStation logo at the end or maybe at the beginning. You see this with a lot of those big third-party titles, like Call of Duty's kind of went back and forth over the years between who has the marketing exclusivity for it between Microsoft and Sony. And so that brings me to the second key takeaway here, and that is that Sony must believe very strongly in this game. We talked about how it is still coming to PC, it is still coming to Xbox, but even knowing that, Sony wanted to pony up the funds, to pony up the probably millions of dollars so they get the exclusive marketing rights. And to me, I don't think you do that unless you really strongly believe in the quality of this product. And really what this indicates to me is that Sony wants people to associate Hogwarts Legacy with the PlayStation brand. And given how strong both the Harry Potter and PlayStation brands are, that is honestly huge. Even though it's coming out on other platforms, they want you to think of PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 as the place to play Hogwarts Legacy. And regardless of how you feel about marketing deals or exclusivity in general, you can already see how this is working. I remember when the first announcement came out, we saw that first trailer, there were a lot of folks who thought, oh, this is exclusive to PlayStation. Not so fast. And to me, I'm just going to say, hopefully this is a sign that the game is actually shaping up very nicely. Maybe Sony saw something early in development or even later in development where they said, hey, we want this game to be exclusive, at least in terms of marketing, to PlayStation. And to be completely clear here, just because Sony is throwing their massive marketing dollars behind Hogwarts Legacy, that does not mean that the game is guaranteed to be a quality game. But if you think about the business side of it, at least in terms of Sony's side, clearly they believe very strongly in this game. And if you're a fan of Hogwarts Legacy, to me, that's nothing but a good thing. I mean, just think about it. The next-gen leader right now wants Hogwarts Legacy to appear right next to Horizon, right next to Ratchet in that trailer. And maybe it's just me, but I personally feel a lot better about my expectations for the game. The third big takeaway I have here is that I think we will almost certainly see Hogwarts Legacy again at Sony's next big event. If you've been a follower of the channel for a while, you know I haven't really talked much about this supposed PlayStation event. One, because it's not official yet. And 2, because the rumors just won't seem to quiet down. Every time I think about making a video, there's already another new rumor saying, well, no, now it's going to be this date. And several different insiders have kind of went back and forth on this, when the exact date of that next big PlayStation event is supposed to be. At the time of this recording, though, we still do not have an official date. What Sony event, you might say? Well, if you haven't noticed, PlayStation has been very quiet in 2021. They've delayed some games. They've talked about, hey, PS5 is selling really great, but they skipped out on E3. They skipped out on Gamescom. They're not doing a PlayStation experience this year. So a lot of folks in the industry are expecting they're not going to go all of 2021 without saying something about the games they've got coming up for next year. But who knows when this event is actually going to take place? We've heard all sorts of dates being thrown out there. August, now we're into September. Who knows? Maybe October, November. Maybe they do a December event, bring back the PlayStation experience. Right now, though, we have no idea. Now, if you want to know my personal guess, I do think there will be some sort of Sony event focusing on PS5 before the end of the year. I think it would just be a huge surprise if Sony goes all of 2021 really without saying anything at all about what games are on the horizon. And I gotta say, I know we've been close, or we've thought we've been close many times, guys, that like maybe this is when we're getting Hogwarts Legacy news. Maybe it's gonna be here. Maybe it's at this event. Maybe it's at that event. I really do think there's a strong indication that whenever Sony holds this event, that will be the next moment that we hear about Hogwarts Legacy. At first, I was thinking more along the lines of maybe the Game Awards at the end of the year, but the fact that we've seen this show up in another PlayStation trailer tells me that, hey, they've got the exclusive for this, so they are going to want to feature it at PlayStation events. So guys, once they are ready to share more, I think you can get excited because Sony is going to put their full marketing effort behind this game, which means we should be seeing a lot of information coming out. Trailers, more PlayStation blog posts, screenshots, hopefully all those things we've been talking about and hoping for, dev interviews. Hopefully we're going to see more of that once they finally say, hey, we're ready to tell you guys more about this game. Now, there is one shot in the trailer. Some of you have actually hit me up on Twitter asking, do I think this shot right here, is this from Hogwarts Legacy? Notice it takes place after a Hogwarts Legacy scene that we've already seen in the trailer many times. And then we see this right here. And it certainly does look like it could be something from Hogwarts Legacy. We see someone in what appears to be a cloak here, and then maybe a mirror shattering. And I will say, it certainly looks like it could be from Hogwarts Legacy, but I tend to think it is actually Final Fantasy instead. All the other shots in the trailer that we see of Hogwarts Legacy are ripped straight from the other trailer that we have seen many, many times at this point. I think it would be really strange if they just kind of snuck that in there, just some sort of random shot from Hogwarts Legacy. And let's be real here, even if it was from Hogwarts Legacy, I don't know that we could really gain all that much from it. It is a very, very short shot, and as I said, it just looks like someone standing in a cloak and this mirror or something magical kind of shattering in front of them. But go ahead and comment below and let me know what game you guys think it is, and as always, thank you all so much for watching. I'll talk to you again soon.